Okay, so I'm Lord Doom for John Murphy TV, and today I am with
Ian and
Miriam
from La Bar Cajun Band.
Right, now, tell us a little bit about Cajun, because the most people know about Cajun in England is Southern Comfort, the film.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
so basically, yeah, tell us a little bit about the history of Cajun, how it came about and where it's actually located.
So originally it was French music, so French pioneers came over to places like where the eastern seaboard is, so Nova Scotia and places like that. That place they called Arcadia, and they were farmers, and they were doing quite happily for a number of years, and then the British came over and kicked them out in about 1715. And then they moved to various places in the US, so some settled in Quebec, some travelled to New Orleans, and then others travelled towards southwest Louisiana in the swamps. It was predominantly fiddle music up until the end of the 19th century, and then the Germans brought the accordion, the one-row accordion over, and they quite liked that because it was quite a loud sound. And so the Cajun that you hear now is a mixture of that and a lot of styles that were going on in the 30s and the 40s. So you've got Western swing and you've got old time and things like that. And it was just a sort of a melting pot around Louisiana at the time, all these bands that were happening.
Tell me about Arcadia, because when I looked it up, it said some Arcadians were actually Greek.
Yeah.
So some are French and that.
Some are Greek, some are Spanish as well.
So what? Bloody. Right, that's it. Right, okay. Yeah, I'm still. Right, okay, that's it. Right, so some Arcadians, so some are French, and so what motivated them to go to those areas in the first place?
There was French-speaking people there, so you've got another strain of it is the Creoles that were there as well. So they're generally blacks from Haiti and the Caribbean. Some were slaves, and some were sort of free people of colour that were in New Orleans as well. So whether it was a sort of a meeting of language, or whether it was just that's kind of where they ended up. I think a lot to do with it was because Louisiana was under Spanish rule as well, so it was called
So it was Catholic,
French.
So as well. So
it was
had
Catholic
a
too.
big
well.
part.
Yeah, so yeah, probably had a lot more to do with it.
Well, they were welcomed. They were welcomed because the Acadians were Catholics, and a big problem with the British was that they were Protestant.
Okay, you finally started talking, so tell me the difference between Cajun music and other sorts of, would you
Zydeco.
Would you say
Zydeco? I like Zydeco.
Would you call it jazz? I mean, is it some sort of jazz, or would you describe
Zydeco? Well, I mean, it's what the people of colour, the Creoles, did with Cajun music.
So it's basically
Zydeco is Cajun music's cousin. Yes, I would say it's blues and funk based. So it's a lot funky. There's a lot more. I mean, perhaps where it's much newer, sort of 1960s, 1950s, 1960s. So it's generally amplified. So it's got all these.
Yeah, I like to think of it as so the king of Zydeco, Clifton Chenier.
Oh yeah,
he effectively did what Fats Domino was doing on the piano, on a piano accordion. Yeah, so it was that kind of thing. But his family were Creole, and so he sang a load of French songs in the style of Fats Domino, and that was Zydeco.
Right, so what's the difference between a Cajun accordion and an ordinary accordion?
No, and what's an ordinary accordion?
Yeah, well, I don't know, but basically, what I want to know is what's the difference between a fiddle and a violin? You know what I mean? This is.
The difference between the fiddle and the violin
Yeah.
is the nut
Right.
that holds the bow.
Okay. Is that it?
That's the joke.
Is it? I was
gonna say.
Right, okay, because I was buying it. I was standing there buying it going, oh
thinking,
yes,
I didn't say
it's all down to the nuts.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's the nuts. Yeah, right, okay.
What was the nut?
It's the nut that plays it.
Yeah,
okay. There is a Cajun accordion tends to be a single row diatonic accordion. Now you get them in Germany, you get them over here. They tend to play. You can play English Morris on it, but you can play Cajun on it as well. So there's a slight difference in the fact that the tune is slightly flat. That's all, but there's not real big difference between the two. One row diatonic and a one row Cajun is very simple.
Tell us a little bit about the dancing, because obviously a big feature of when I came here today, everybody's dancing, and it's old people dancing. I mean, I was talking to one guy who's 79, and he was dancing for hours, it seemed. So it was like, yeah, tell us about the dancing. What's the difference between Cajun dancing and dancing, and what do you think the attraction of, and why do you think somewhere a long way from Louisiana or wherever is still attracted to Cajun dancing?
I would say it's like where it's a roots music. It's pre so many things that we have today. The Cajun dances back in Louisiana. I'm thinking just when the first record came out, like in 1929, around that time anyway. Alonzo Lafayette was one of them, and Jolly Blonde was another. And those records were played to death, and the dances were what brought everybody out and everybody together, and they brought all their children, and everything kind of went on there.
I noticed there was a really big sense of community.
Absolutely,
so,
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like
It's
everybody was
the
talking
two.
to each other, and so I mean, you could go to a nightclub and nobody would bloody talk to you. You know what I mean? It's but here, everybody's sort of like, and there was no age limit as well.
No, that's right.
It's an old-fashioned thing that we've kind of lost and certainly in UK. Social dancing in the 50s and 60s is what your parents used to go out to.
Exactly. Yeah. I remember going to one.
And so it's a hark back to that. That's all. No.
So tell us about the next place you'll be playing.
It's going to be here, actually.
It will be here.
Yeah, on the 13th of April.
So our fiddle player has just had a baby this year, so we've got this as a kind of residency at the moment. So we're taking bookings, but we're just kind of seeing how the year goes. So
none of you come from Cajun culture. Do any of you come from Cajun culture?
No, I don't.
So how did you get influenced? That's my question.
So I've played the diatonic accordion since I was 9 years old, and I kind of wanted another kick, really. I knew that I was heading towards Cajun because although I've played it's folk music, I've always been interested in blues. So
how did you get to hear Cajun music when you were young?
It didn't happen when I was young, actually. It only happened about 16 years ago. I had a drunken chat with someone in the pub after I was playing, and he said, "You play like a Cajun player?" And I said, "Well, I don't know about Cajun." And he said, "Well, I'll teach you." And then about a week later, this huge box of CDs turned up, and it was a load of original stuff and a real mix of things, and I just I'm going to just bury my head into this, and brought a cheap one, and then and the first thing I did was actually just to gather a load of musicians, local musicians around me, and I formed a band with my wife 16 years ago.
Are you his wife?
No.
I'm just saying.
No, we met along the way, didn't we? I think we had the band for about a year or two, and then realised that there was a very small English scene, and
Do you think it's really small still, or do you think it's growing?
I've been looking for it for quite a while. Couldn't find much.
No. I think it was big in this country at the beginning of the 90s and the 80s, and I think that was the sort of interest in world music. So it all came from Paul Simon's Graceland.
Equally, Southern Comfort you mentioned, and the Big Easy.
Yes. Yeah. So.
Although I don't think that was that film was very representative of actual Cajun culture.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like, they were all represented as killers that would kill you if you were like that. I don't know. I'm not sure that's true.
No.
If you went to a swamp, I'm sure you wouldn't get murdered for,
Not everybody.
Not everybody.
No.
That's it.
You go over there and they are the nicest, friendliest. They're slightly mad because
Right,
you know they have some really late nights and a lot of drinking.
Yeah, a lot of drinking, a lot of dancing.
Right now,
Yeah.
it's pissing down with
Yeah.
me, so what we're going to do is, John, do you want to ask any questions?
Yeah, the first time I heard Cajun-ish was Doug Kershaw
Doug Kershaw.
and Rusty, his brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what did you think of that guy? This was like early 80s.
Yeah, he turned about 89, Doug Kershaw, recently. I think he's still going.
No, but it was the early 80s when I heard him, you know, and I thought...
Yeah,
that was
Raging Cajun.
And then...
Raging Cajun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
And him and his brother split up because they went to the war and all that. The stories out there, and then they got back together again. And the story was that his mother supported him at the Bucket of Blood.
Yeah, okay.
You know the story.
Yeah.
And that's a big, it's a big number, recorded by so many people. You know, did the Bucket of Blood actually exist? That
I don't. Sorry, I don't
pub
know.
or whatever.
I don't know the story. Yeah.
You don't?
No.
That's all right. No worries. No worries.
Yeah.
And then it was Clinton. How do you pronounce his second name? The Zydeco guy.
Oh, Chenier, Clifton.
Yeah. I thought those two. They were the ones I listened to, and then I went off on another.
Yeah, I mean, when it was big in this country, I remember as a kid, because my mum was quite into folk music, and she got Folk Roots magazine all the time, and there was these guys, big black guys with cloaks on and crowns on their heads with these like huge, and I'm like, what is all that? That's not folk music. What is that?
Yeah. I mean, that was wild, man.
Right, okay, so basically, I think have we finished? Anything else?
Where can people find you if they want to sort of book you?
Well, labar.co.uk is the website. We're on Facebook as La Bar Cajun Band. If you're really interested in dancing and festivals, there's a festival that I'm involved in Shropshire called the Big Weekend. That's in August, second week of August. Just missed one in Gloucester. That's
nothing down here.
In London, no. We're trying to do this.
This is a good place.
This is kind of going really nicely.
Hey, man.
Yeah,
thank you so much for giving.
Thank you for your interest. And,
thank you.